Yeah. All right. You're listening to an episode of Transparency and Merit. You might be watching it too.
Yeah, those few who do. But I think we're on private right now, and I wanted to. Well, we'll go over that later on things that we're trying to do with StreamYard and putting things up and editing, and it's kind of a new process for us. But yeah, Weirdos Unite. You know what? The weirdos. There are weirdos who are control freak weirdos, and then there are the fun weirdos that like to have fun and like to joke around. And
What camp are you in?
I'm into. I like to have fun and joke around, and I feel like like it's been ruined by control freak weirdos.
Yeah, fun has been taken over.
Yeah, I want my fun back.
It is really something else, and they're full of tricks and deceptions
Yeah.
to kind of fall into line. So something may seem fun, but once you get there, you're required to wear a face diaper.
Yeah, I mean, where in the and now the face diaper's over, but who knows what other thing they're going to try to permit and
Yeah,
make us do?
yeah. What's
You know?
next? I mean, they were
Yeah,
able to roll over us on that. What's next?
yeah. What's next? And to me, everything they say, I don't believe in. I don't, I used to humor it. I don't want to humor it anymore. I don't want to, like I'm gonna say my opinion, and you're gonna say your opinion, and let the chips fall where they may. I
I
don't care.
never, I never let them have any play on that. I didn't give them any wiggle room because we've already done that. The ship already sank after 9/11.
Well,
We sat there and gave up one right after the next.
you know what the truth is? I didn't feel at that. Look, the rights that were eroded didn't necessarily. I mean, I don't know. It didn't necessarily affect me like what happened during the pandemic. It affected me.
Wait. Don't you remember a time when you were growing up when people freaked out over things like making certain information public information, like at the libraries? I think there was I remember a big debate about that and how they were going to make public record of books that people were checking out, and people freaked. People stood up and fought, and there was a lot of noise around that. And people were more likely to fight back against losing elements of their privacy, at least back then in my childhood in the 70s, maybe even up until the 80s. But at some point, people rolled over.
Well, um, with regards to censorship, that does affect me. And there was I, I don't know, I don't want to say his name because he asked me not to, but I was addressing him by his name on the Twitter thread, and I forget exactly. He was asking me a question like, "How does censorship affect me?" or "How does this affect me personally?" And I told him like, I gave him my opinion, and it was like he was asking, he was playing a game with me. I felt, and the more I thought about it, it did. It really kind of pissed me off because it was a way of undermining my concern and belittling it.
Was it
To
kind of disguised with like maybe a Socratic method of questioning, or was it just downright ignorant?
let me get back to, let me go on to it real quick. Let me see where it starts. And I don't want to give out this guy's name
Why not?
because he asked me not. Because I said his name in the thing, and he says, "I don't know you like that. Don't let me see. But I just want to go where it started." And I'm just bear with me here, folks.
Well, when was this conversation?
This conversation was today, and it was during my lunch break.
So you should be able to find it real easy.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, but I've been during my lunch break. I just do, I have a lot of some time on my hands, and I just
Yes.
bloviated to a few, and there were a few people that just bloviated to me, and
Okay. And this was on the transparency. Oh no.
so
Yeah,
the walk against
transparency
the woke. It's the walk against the woke is
on Twitter.
on Twitter, and yeah, it's
Let's check it out.
let's see here. I'm just looking at it where I made a statement, and it was like, let me see here if I can get the entire. Show the reply. Let me see if I can show all the replies here. And I define woke as moral authoritarianism. I define woke as moral authoritarianism disguised as virtue. And he says, let me see here.
If you want to find this conversation, by the way, on Twitter, it's at Walk Woke.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's let's see. And he talks about it's deeply ingrained. You probably don't see it like what it is. And he talks about basically he's talking about the evangelicals. And I said I've dealt with both evangelicals and woke leftists before. Both can be egocentric and authoritarian. The difference is the level of tolerance. Once the woke leftists stigmatize you, there is no path to redemption. Lack of objectivity leads to a juvenile sense of right and wrong. And then he says, oh, well, I mean, no, I get that woke bad is your whole thing, but this is just you relying on anecdotal personal experience. Like if my only path to redemption is accepting the religious faith least befall me. And then and then he says, seriously, dude, what are you talking about? A juvenile sense of right and wrong. We have tens of millions of people in this country who think the supreme being, creator, universe takes personal interest in how often you jack off.
What?
This is this guy talking.
Yeah.
And then and I say,
Let me reread that because it didn't make sense to me.
are you looking at? Okay, okay.
Seriously, the criteria seem to be totally subjective. Somehow, the term woke itself became a pejorative that gets tossed around with no objective criteria to define it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just picked one of the comments there. But go on with what you were reading there.
And then I said, I gave his name.
Yeah.
You seem to downplay the toxic behavior of the woke left. You are aware there are many atheists and agnostics who are conservative, many liberals who are put off by woke leftist dogmatism. I'd appreciate if you wouldn't address me by my first name. We're not acquainted. And let me see. Okay, so he's asked that, and yeah, I mean, I can't find the entire basic conversation, but anyway, But I've had a few battles of Twitter, and I just feel like a lot of these people are blind, are really blind to their to the behavior of the side they're on, and I'm not blind to religious radicalism of any kind, but
well, here's what I'm afraid of. A lot of these jokers on social media, Twitter especially, they're legitimately are paid provocateurs, and none of this really has any impact. I'm looking more for like where's this impacting me out there in the world? Um, and when I see uh, posts like uh, images of MAGA, as a Nazi and Nazi regalia and symbolism, and put up there with Antifa, I mean, it's very strange. Antifa is posted as kind of like the Americans in the war, and MAGA is the Germans. And wow, I mean, these are like doctors posting
Yeah,
stuff like this.
yeah. And some of
It's
the stuff
it's
that they say is just hyperbolic, and I think they really don't have an idea on how just I don't know if they have an idea of how toxic they are, like how toxic the group is, but not only that, but how toxic they are. And he asked me, oh, this is a question, how are you being limited and silenced? You're getting a little out there, man. Honestly, I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable with this conversation.
how did you answer that?
If I decided to have a YouTube or Facebook page uh, limiting my reach and silencing me, I get the impression you're playing games because you don't like certain things. Let me see here. You think I should only be bothered by unfair practices unless they affect me personally. Before Elon bought this place, my Twitter page would have been shadow banned. I should have been more prepared on exactly.
Yeah, man, this is a
Yeah,
waste of time.
yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's just a Twitter thing, and I think you can paraphrase just well.
Well,
So
well,
why don't
not only a waste of time, but at the time I felt like he was asking me personally, like how do they silence me, uh, and not like dealing with the fact that social media does silence dissenting voices. And it was like, well, how do they affect you personally? Why do you care? And it was a way of belittling me. It was a way of downplaying
right?
the whole thing, and it pissed me off. And to me, I had a right to be pissed. It was a slight, and it wasn't, and it wasn't. He didn't acknowledge what was going on. It was to me a way of just like narrowing the conversation because he didn't want to deal with the censorship. And that did anger me. I felt he wasn't coming from an honest and genuine place, and I, to a degree, felt like I felt like the guy had really pulled the rug out from under me, and it really I try to maintain my I've started kind of maintaining my cool on this stuff, but this really did piss me off. I just felt the guy was just being completely dishonest.
It just seems like these people are so far off and out in left field talking about things. Now, are you aware that Donald Trump made a statement that one of his first, well, I guess he's trying to get it pushed through to end birthright citizenship. And that is such a huge, momentous thing. It's so gigantic. And I'm wondering if you had heard that.
No, I didn't. But I mean, I know he believes in that we should end birthright citizenship, and I think you
Oh,
know
yeah. He's
there
been
are
vocal
lots
about it. Yeah.
there are lots of other countries that uh, believe that they should end birthright citizenship as well, and that's another topic. My issue right now, for me, is
Well, my point, real quick, in bringing that up is that these are issues that potentially have an impact on everybody. Everybody should be watching a story like that and understand what it means. Unfortunately, most people do not, and so most people are easy to get sucked into these conversations with these unknowns. There's, can you hear me still? Hello? Ah,
I'm
I
sorry,
can't.
I was on mute myself, but I can hear you.
Anyways, so I was just, I'm in a continual onward march for for uh, for truth, and people don't want to hear it. People do not want to hear it, and I find that very fascinating. And I find that there's a lot of detractors that are more than willing to do the work of grabbing, you know, the attention of people who don't want to put the work in and really understand the words that are being pushed through in the media. It's a full throttle attack on all our senses. We have all kinds of programming, depending on the topic. You can go through the media and find all the ways in which certain narratives are pushed. And there's a very good author named Michael Hoffman. It's Michael A. Hoffman, and he wrote a book called Twilight Language. And Twilight Language is this real deep meta analysis of news stories, documents, popular words that are used in the lexicon, and just just a real helpful way of kind of redefining what exactly we are experiencing with this onslaught of information. What are your thoughts there?
Well, my thoughts is that this was supposed to be the information superhighway, and there are civil rights groups that have actively ruined, and ruined it for the rest of us. And I feel to a degree that the legacy media and the rest of the elites, they have contempt for the working class in this country. And the working class is starting to boycott, and they're starting to catch on. And all wars are economic, including culture wars. And I think boycotts are the way. Going to businesses that show you some forms of respect. But if people aren't even going to sit down and talk to you or negotiate with you, I think with a lot of these people, the only thing that they understand is punishment, because that's the language that they speak. They speak, you do as I say, we don't have to talk to you, and take it or leave it. Well, I leave it. And the rest of the people will leave it too.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
and I think it's important also to understand that you're right. All wars are fought where money is central to the fight, and we've seen central banking come out of every major war, um, and and I think people are fooled into thinking. I've heard so many people, um, mostly the fringy kind of people on the internet, discuss this what we're going through as a spiritual war, which I believe it is not. I think it's just the same as all the rest.
Well, it's like I said, it's an economic war. I think people have to be intelligent and they have to be smart. Um, and if people treat you like shit, don't strive not to deal with them. Sometimes you have no choice, but where you have a choice, don't fucking deal with them. If you say fuck you to me, I'm gonna say it right back to you. I'm gonna say fuck you right back. You say you push, I push. You kick, I kick. You say fuck you. Guess what? Hey, fuck you too, buddy. You say fuck you, take it or leave it. I leave it, and that's the way you should be. Eat fucking dirt first before you before you give money to people who treat your values like shit and step on you and call you names and devalue you as a human being. Fuck you. Why the fuck should I go to your business when you treat me like shit? When you demean me and talk down to me and don't even speak to me like a fucking human being. You know, you want to defame law enforcement, you want to defame my race or my heritage, and I'm just supposed to sit and take it, no talk back, and everything I say is a weaponized defense? Fuck you too. Fuck you too. We can both play that game. I have money. Why should I give my hard-earned dollar to a restaurant or a company that treats me like shit? Why should I invest, or why should I go with an investment firm with my hard-earned dollar that doesn't respect my values, that says fuck you to me? To me, it's like if you say fuck you, well, fuck you too. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's like that's just nature. I mean,
And
if
and maybe the safest, most effective way we can fight at this point is through paperwork and committed, dedicated use of your wallet. Open it at the places you want to open it at, and stay away from those places that don't match what it is you stand for.
yeah, I mean, and all these people are afraid of hate speech. I'm, I'd rather have hate speech than censorship, because the censorship only goes in one direction. It's either a conspiracy theory or it's a hate speech. Give me a fucking break. I'll say whatever. You know what? You don't like what I say? Don't be around me. You know? And if you want to try to hurt me or try to get me fired, I want to do the same to you. That whole bite Karen thing. Well, those people who are in favor of doxing someone and getting their work, I'd like the same thing to happen to you. If you think doing shit like that is okay, getting people fired and hurting them economically, well, the same should fucking happen to you. Should blacklist you. That's just my opinion on that. Anyway, Joey, is there anything else to add before we call this motherfucker a day?
No, just keep on listening to Transparency and Merit. We've got a lot of work to do, man. We've got so much work to post up on our website. A lot
Yeah,
of people have been hitting it lately. Thank you. Keep going back to that. We're going to have some merchandise, but mostly we're getting ready for another walk against the woke.
absolutely. And
Do
we
you want to
got
talk
to,
about that, or do you want to get to that another time?
you know what? Just trying to get the word out there that, and you can walk in spirit. You don't even have to march with us. But the one thing is it's about basically power and money.
And we're
And
aiming for December.
yeah, we're aiming for doing something, a fundraiser in December, and then doing a walk in March or April. All right, Joey, let's call it a day, man. Like,
Alrighty.
like and subscribe and leave a comment down below.
Yeah, do all that.